This is a paternoster, installed all the way back in 1909. Today is an Access All Areas visit, hosted by one of the lead maintenance engineers. In this video we examine the cabs, then later on, a trip to see the paternoster machinery. A paternoster is a lift consisting of many linked compartments, all moving continuously on an endless chain. The left side goes up and the right side goes down. When they reach the top and bottom, the compartments are switched onto the other rail. This clip is coming up in a moment. The company Stigler originates from Italy and dates back to 1870. The paternoster was first installed in 1901, but at a different building that partially burnt down. It was removed and reinstalled into its current location in 1909. The building was originally a kind of market hall with galleries and various shops. The original stained glass oval in the roof still remains today. In 1970, the paternoster was switched off. It's only switched on to keep it in motion once in a while, so that it doesn't fall into complete disrepair. It even has a service contract, which is quite strange for a lift that's never going to carry passengers. All 12 cabins were restored in 1987 to how they would have looked when the paternoster was first installed back in 1901. It's not allowed to be started whilst the building is occupied. But later I have some good news. I have so much footage of these paternosters it's difficult to know where to start. So let's start with the cabs, each of which have no electrics in them at all. Each step has a safety feature to stop your foot from being sliced off should it get in between the moving cab and the floor. The landing steps have these switches underneath them. This one will stop the paternoster when activated. With the wide open central stairs, the paternoster, if it were running, I don't think would get a lot of use, because it's much easier to use the stairs, and there are also of course conventional lifts. Above each cab are these wooden panels. There's no switches on them, they just hide the gaps in between each cab when it's moving. If you happen to catch it with your foot, then it just bounces back to the front.
Cet ascenseur à chaîne, et son surnom c'est le paternoster. C'est la fameuse cuillère catholique.
Oui, oui,
Voilà.
de France.
Et puis il y a les grains Puis vu que c'est pas les grains, les prières sont perpétuels, ça tourne, ça s'arrête jamais. C'est pour ça qu'on a surnommé comme
Et on était aussi
So this side will go up, and if you place your feet just out of the cabin, then this thing will lift up,
Yeah.
so your feet won't hurt.
Yes.
ça, c'était des sacs
And the same is at the top level. Then there's a flap in the
Oh, I
ceiling,
see.
actually.
Yeah.
And when that flaps, there's a contact and it will switch off.
The step with the switch is missing on the right side. This is because the lifting step is only required on the upwards cabs. It serves no purpose for the downward cabs. Instead, the flap on the cab will stop the lift if someone's foot goes underneath while it is moving. With no electrics or wires on any of the cabs, the lifting of the step activates this ramp. This then pushes one of these switches located in the shaft at each floor as the cab passes. After the paternoster has stopped, restarting it requires manual intervention from the motor room. There are two giant wheels at the top and bottom. Each wheel has a chain that does a loop all the way down and back up. The chain at the front here holds all the cabs in the top corner. The chain at the back holds the cabs in the opposite corner. If a cab were to become disconnected, I'd imagine it would strike the cab underneath it. Therefore, these connections are very heavy duty. These bolts are massive and used to adjust the tension of the chain. There's one of these for each chain system. Now to the paternoster machine room, which is shared with this lift. I'm sending out a massive thank you to the maintenance engineer, who was very kind and accommodating during our visit.
sac poubelle.
Bonjour. Hi there.
These contacts control the power to the motor when it starts up. It's all mechanical, and the timing is controlled with an air cylinder that creates a short delay. It's better if I explain this using one of my other videos. Here is the motor startup sequence. Power to the motor is applied gradually via these springs and contacts. Inside the case are resistors to prevent the motor demanding too much power. The contacts gradually put a short circuit over each one. To illustrate the startup a little clearer, I've added these indicators and emphasized the gap between each contact. Low power, then a few seconds later, full power.
I think this is a kind of cylinder because it moves the brake. So this can go that way, then these parts connect. So I think this is a kind of a plunger.
Yeah, so it's and there is the, I believe, the air valve. So this, if you put this down fully, then it takes longer for the cylinder to go in.
Yeah, I think
I've seen something like this before.
And then this moves and, well, suddenly the brake should open.
Yeah.
Ich gehe nochmal nach ganz oben. Kommst du auch mit?
Nee, ich muss einfach Filmen machen.
Kannst du machen, ich habe schon gemacht. Aber du kannst das sicher auch noch machen. Okay. Sind die da fertig? Ja. Okay, dann denke ich, machen wir alles auf diese Seite und dann ist das wieder frei. Können wir das frei machen? Das war etwas anders. Spielt die ganze Zeit weiter, das Zeug. Okay. Hat er das? Ja. Mache ich noch ein paar Fotos auch vielleicht.
This is a slip ring motor. Once the motor is running, the rings need to be mechanically disengaged by raising the handle upwards. This flap is to check the oil. I'm being cautious not to touch anything electrical. Although the power is off, this paternoster is not decommissioned. A lever is pulled up from below to release the brake and start the motor. If the lift stops, this switch drops, which turns the motor off, which also applies the brake.
Was erzählt hat. Hat erzählt, die haben das Klavier so gemacht, einen Boden.
Here is the drive shaft to one of the massive chains that moves the cabs. There's two drive shafts, one for the front and one for the rear chain systems. The cabs and lift shaft is on the other side of the wall. The cabs, as you can see, are really old. Also notice the wooden guide rails.
God. Ah, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get covered in oil. Yeah. It's a mistake to come through here. It's oil.
Oh, then you smell nice. Okay.
I will come out first.
Just wait, we take a picture. So crazy.
Through.
Yeah, we just. Oh, yeah. Check.
That's it. And then I can get out. Yeah. Not oil, this is grease.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dat is wirklich bijzonder.
Again, one more time. Ah.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah. And now for the good news. I've edited this video ahead of a special event. Next month, this paternoster is due to be switched on, really just for us. I'm unlikely to get there, but instead there's a whole host of people attending that have kindly agreed to film the whole event for me. So please stand by for a special part 2 of this thing in action. When the video is ready, a link to it will appear in the top left, or please check the video description for more information. Our motto on the Mr. Matt and Mr. Che channel is quality, not quantity, to hopefully bring you some really special videos to watch. If you've enjoyed this video, we'd really appreciate your support by considering subscribing to our channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope you come back to watch part 2.